It's time for another installment of The Basics, and if you remember a couple episodes back, I was talking about how you can't just start a CCG and play it using only 60 card starter decks, mainly because the pool of cards is not enough to go anywhere. Well, today I want to talk about people in the past, and I've heard examples as of late of people that still do this, and this is in regards to people starting a CCG but buying only boosters and trying to make a deck from that. And I'm going to explain why that doesn't work either. Now, a 60 card starter box will have a decent amount of base cards and a wide variety of rare, uncommon, and common cards, so at least it gives you a good start before you buy boosters. But buying only boosters makes little sense, and here's why. Especially in games like the Star Trek card game, where the boosters have that one rare card, maybe a couple of uncommons, and you'll see a lot of commons, and if you buy, for example, 8 or 10 booster packs at once, you'll notice a lot of the same commons and a couple of the same uncommons popping up all the time. You'll have an abundance of them, and that's not a good start to get, especially if you're only buying boosters. You're missing out on the base cards. Expansions that Magic came out with over the years that range anywhere from 15 cards to 8 cards, so they drastically reduced the number of cards per booster, mainly because if it was a smaller expansion, you'd have to buy more. That's marketing. But at the same time, again, you'd end up with a lot of the same common cards, and in Magic's case, you'd end up with a lot of land cards of one suit that you didn't need. And that creates a problem in itself. By buying a starter box of Magic, at least you had a few lands of each color in there. Not enough, mind you, but you had a starter where you could build upon by buying the boosters. The X-Files, when you bought booster packs for that, always 15 cards, but a lot of common locations and a lot of common event cards. And you didn't see a lot of the rare X-File or personnel or bluff cards, or even some of the combat cards that you so direly needed in the game. And this is a reason why anyone who buys just booster packs, especially in these 3 CCGs, is making a huge mistake. It makes very little sense to buy only boosters. And when you go back to the Star Trek CCG, especially the first 3 or 4 expansions, there were a lot of the same commons going on, as I mentioned earlier. I myself must have had a stack of tricorders, engineering kits, Darian Wallace, and a lot of Universal personnel, and including the USS Excelsior and Shuttlecraft, that I ended up either selling online or trading or doing something with, or having other cards printed and stuck over them. Having an abundance of commons through all the games is terrible. And another big game that suffered badly from this issue, and I played it over the years, was Overpower, mainly because you'd have a lot of the same superheroes, the common ones, stacked in the booster packs. When you buy only booster packs, your card pool is a lot less than if you were to buy 2 starters, which also makes little sense for reasons I've mentioned in a previous episode. And again, and I'm going to answer this question a third time because it's been posed to me recently, when you start off buying a CCG, you buy a starter and 4 or 5 boosters to get a decent card pool as a start. It's that simple. Now, I know someone's going to mention this, but before you say anything, yes, there is one way to get into a CCG using only boosters that might give you a relatively good card pool to start with, but to do that, you have to buy an entire booster box or 2 of them, and even then you're still lacking some of the core cards that you might see in a starter box. Mainly because, again, there's only 1 rare card per booster pack, and you're going to see duplicates of those even if you buy 2 starter boxes. So again, 1 60 card starter and 4 or 5 booster packs to get you started to have a decent card pool. Don't try to do it any other way. It doesn't work. Have a great day, everybody.